The Red Cathedral sends 1 to 4 players aged 12 and over off to compete for the lion's share of the prestige for the construction of St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. Despite its small size, what awaits you is a cracking connoisseur's game which demands resource management and a good feel for the market over the course of 50 to 80 minutes. The core element of the game is this dice roundabout, which you can use to obtain resources. The resources can be used to construct the cathedral piece by piece. As soon as one player has completed 6 of their own building sections, everyone else takes another turn, and the final score is calculated. You can do one of 3 things when it's your turn: either claim a building section, that's happening here, build or decorate a building section, or collect resources. In order to claim a building section, take one of your banners from your workshop tableau and place it on the building section you want. You can only choose the bottommost free card for each tower. Doing so gives you 3 advantages. Firstly, no one can take this section away from you. Only you can build on it. Secondly, this frees up space in your warehouse so that you can accommodate more resources. And thirdly, it gives you a workshop tile, which will give you more bonuses in the future if you use the same colored die. If you want to build on a building section, place up to 3 resources from your workshop on one of your building sections. For example, place these 3 from the workshop here. The cards also tell you which resources you need. Once you've completed a section, you will receive rubles and building points for it. Finished sections can also be decorated with doors, arches, or crosses. To get resources, move one of the dice around the roundabout according to the number of dots on it. You can then carry out up to 3 market actions. 1. Take the resources of the section multiplied by the number of dice there. 2. Use the ability on an influence card in your quarter of choice. 3. Activate a workshop tile if it matches the color of the die just cast. At the end of your turn, you then have to cast all the dice again in the used section. Here's a brief example. I move the red die 3 squares ahead. It lands in the section with wood. As there are 2 dice there now, I get up to 2 times 2, i.e. 4 wood tokens. Since I don't have that much space in my warehouse, I first use the influence card in this quarter, as it lets me exchange 2 building materials for any 1 material I require. Let's say I give up these 2 bricks and take another stone in exchange. Now there is room for the 4 wood tokens. I finally get 1 building point based on my workshop tile at the red die. Now let's take a look at the final score. But I first have to rearrange things a bit. You only take the completed building sections of the towers into account to determine the final score. You can remove all others for the sake of clarity. Check who has the highest score for each tower. In other words, the player who has contributed the most banners or decorations to a tower gets the full number of points for that tower. The player with the next highest score for the tower each receive half the previous number of points. The player with the most prestige points, which is indicated on this bar, wins the game. No 2 games will ever be the same with the Red Cathedral. New influence cards with new abilities come into play in every game. There are also other building sections with different costs and rewards. Different and variously distributed workshop tiles come into play. The resource tiles start on other squares. And the construction plan for the entire cathedral will look different depending on the number of players. You can also play with the expanded workshops that offer a different gaming experience. There's a solo version where you compete against Ivan the architect, who comes with his very own little action deck. And now, all that's left for me to do is to wish you loads of fun with the Red Cathedral.
KOSMOS. Hier spielt das Leben.